Welcome to the Dinar Chronicle, your trusted source for breaking currency revaluation news, global exchange intelligence, and real-time financial alerts. In today's urgent update, we're diving deep into a topic that has become one of the most pressing concerns for IQD and VND holders worldwide: how to exchange your Iraqi dinar and Vietnamese dong without getting taxed heavily. With more and more signals pointing to a potential shift in global currency values, individuals are now racing to understand not only the exchange process but how to protect their profits when it finally happens. As reports intensify around a possible revaluation of the Iraqi dinar to the $3 to $6 range and renewed speculation that the Vietnamese dong may follow with a valuation north of 47 cents or even higher, attention is now turning to one of the most overlooked yet impactful aspects of the exchange: taxation. While revaluation profits can be substantial, they also come with a high risk of triggering capital gains taxes, IRS audits, and a potential financial liability that many are not prepared for. For those in the United States and other jurisdictions with aggressive tax enforcement, a poorly planned exchange can easily lead to giving away 30 to 50% of your gains to the government. Let's begin by laying out what's currently known about how foreign currency gains are treated under U.S. tax law. The Internal Revenue Service, or IRS, classifies profits from the exchange of foreign currency as either ordinary income or capital gains, depending on the nature of the transaction. If you're holding foreign currency like the IQD or VND as a personal investment and you exchange it after a significant gain post-revaluation, it is likely to be classified as a capital gain. However, the duration of the hold and the circumstances of the exchange could shift that classification. For example, if you are found to be actively trading currencies as a business or if you exchange a large volume over a short period, the IRS could view your profits as ordinary income, which is often taxed at a much higher rate. That's where pre-exchange planning becomes critical. Financial experts and tax strategists are urging dinar and dong holders to avoid walking into a bank or redemption center without a clearly documented tax plan. The first step is establishing intent. Investors should have documentation showing that their foreign currency holdings were acquired for long-term investment purposes. This includes keeping receipts, logging the purchase dates, and even writing a formal investment statement outlining the purpose of the purchase. Such documentation could support a long-term capital gains classification if audited, which is taxed more favorably than short-term gains or income. Another strategic layer to consider is trust and entity structuring. In recent months, attorneys who specialize in asset protection have seen a spike in inquiries from IQD and VND holders interested in placing their currency inside irrevocable trusts or LLCs. The reason: these structures, when executed correctly, can help control the tax exposure of the individual by offering distribution flexibility and, in some cases, access to trust-level tax brackets. While this doesn't eliminate taxes, it can help reduce the overall burden when assets are sold or exchanged. Moreover, trusts can provide an additional shield against estate taxes and probate if structured properly before the event of exchange. Then there's the timing factor. Analysts agree that how and when you exchange can drastically impact your tax liability. If the revaluation is sudden and the rate spikes overnight, rushing to the bank without a pre-drafted tax plan could result in missed strategic windows. Spreading the exchange out over multiple fiscal years, when possible, might help avoid bumping into a higher tax bracket. But this method only works if the rate remains stable or appreciates after the initial surge, something that remains uncertain depending on the global economic climate and central bank policies post-RV. Geographical considerations also come into play. Some states in the U.S. do not impose state-level capital gains taxes, while others are notoriously aggressive. For example, Florida and Texas are currently considered more tax-friendly states for high net worth individuals due to the absence of a state income tax. On the other hand, states like California and New York could add as much as 13% in additional taxes on top of your federal obligation. For individuals in high-tax states, it may be worth consulting a tax attorney about the legality and logistics of changing your domicile status before the revaluation takes place. However, this process must be legitimate and completed well before any exchange occurs to stand up to IRS scrutiny. Another layer that's emerging rapidly is the role of redemption centers. These private, pre-negotiated locations may be operated in cooperation with financial institutions, central banks, or global reset partners. Some reports suggest that certain centers might offer tax-advantaged packages, including structured payouts over time, tax-deferred options, or even redemption through trust instruments already in place. While these reports are not officially confirmed, many in the Dinar and Dong communities are being advised to wait for Tier 4B appointment instructions, which could include specific details about structured exchanges that are designed with taxation in mind. Also under consideration are charitable giving strategies. Financial advisors with experience in high-value liquidity events are recommending that investors consider donating a portion of their proceeds through donor-advised funds or charitable remainder trusts. This not only serves philanthropic goals but may also reduce taxable income significantly. With proper planning, some individuals may be able to offset a large part of their taxable gain through strategic giving, particularly if the exchange qualifies as a highly appreciated asset liquidation. In terms of what not to do, experts are warning against blind deposits or quick cash-outs without documentation. If you walk into a bank and convert your IQD or VND without any trace of your purchase records, source of funds, or tax strategy, you're exposing yourself to IRS red flags. Not only could your transaction be delayed or flagged under anti-money laundering protocols, but it may also attract unnecessary scrutiny during tax season. Transparency and preparation are key. Keeping digital and hard copies of your purchase history, trust formation documents, if applicable, and a signed CPA or legal opinion can go a long way in protecting yourself post-exchange. There are also concerns being raised about the potential for changes in tax policy immediately following a mass revaluation event. With trillions of dollars potentially moving across borders and into the hands of private citizens, governments may seek to implement windfall taxes or special levies to capture a portion of the movement. If that happens, the window for a lower tax exchange could be incredibly narrow, possibly just days or hours after the first public confirmation of a new rate. This is why some investors are already finalizing their plans now, rather than waiting for official RV announcements. One of the more technical yet promising strategies being explored involves 1031 exchange structures, typically used for real estate but occasionally applied to currency under very specific conditions. While the IRS generally does not allow 1031 treatment for most personal assets, a well-structured legal interpretation involving business use of currency or foreign investments may open the door to deferring gains. This is highly speculative and should only be attempted under the guidance of a seasoned tax attorney, but it's another example of the complex financial mechanisms being evaluated behind the scenes by elite investors and advisors. All of this underscores the importance of proactive planning. Waiting for the RV announcement to prepare your tax defense is simply too late. As of now, no one knows exactly when the revaluation of the IQD or VND will occur, but based on recent policy changes out of the Central Bank of Iraq and quiet digital banking reforms seen in Vietnam, signs continue to suggest that movement could be closer than ever. Whether it's days, weeks, or months away, the smart money is preparing for not just the exchange, but the aftermath. In closing, this has been a high-level overview of what financial experts and strategic investors are doing right now to prepare for a post-revaluation exchange without getting hit with a massive tax bill. From entity structuring and timing to geographic planning and legal consultation, the window for smart preparation is limited and highly sensitive to timing. If you hold IQD or VND and expect